Greetings, everyone. This is Brother Jamal the Carpenter, and I'm here to give my testimony here on how we got here and how Advent Vocational School came about. Um, just, 4 years ago, I became a Seventh-day Adventist Christian, and I gave my life to the Lord. I was associated with the streets this 5 years ago per se, and I was also a fourth degree Freemason for about 10 years prior to that time. When the Lord had called me into the church, and I gave my whole heart to the Lord, the Lord was already showing me, through a trade that He previously already was preparing me for, and I didn't even know that was the Lord preparing me for to be a carpenter. And so we went forth, and we ended up moving to the south, to Tennessee, where we are from Boston, Massachusetts, and so I found a carpentry job, and went from there. And the Lord told me it's time to build a powerhouse for Him, and so we started Origin of Truth Ministries, which was a outreach ministry, was a outreach building ministry at the time, and it was five of us, and it was originally five of us that went out and fixing on people's homes, giving Bible studies, and meeting people's needs, and some people left, some new people came in, and so forth, and so we was going out fixing on Seventh-day Adventist churches and people's homes, and we was traveling all around New Jersey, New York, and so forth, and all parts through Tennessee and Alabama. We were supposed to do a few jobs in Georgia. We may help another ministry help put up a home, the foundation of another home, put up the walls of another home, of a home. And so these are the things that we've done. And so one day in a dream, about 3 years ago, the Lord gave me a dream. And it was so real. And the Lord told me to stop what I'm doing. And it's time to teach my people and prepare for Revelation chapter 13, verse 12. The crisis that's coming ahead, that's just right ahead of us. And to open up a trade school. Now, I thought it was going to be on a smaller scale, but the Lord is, as it gets closer and closer what the Lord is about to open up, it seems like it's getting bigger and bigger. The Lord does big things, especially that time's not on our side, But, so the Lord has asked me to open a school. So He gave me the whole layout. Had me reading the Madison School, Loma Linda, how these schools were operating and how they got started, and how these brothers and sisters, including Sister White, they all stepped out on faith. And so the Lord showed me 4 days in the dream, how to orchestrate this thing, how to bring everything back to the blueprint, And so we even went out and got a 501c3 status, and because everybody was getting one, so we thought it was, it was normal, it's the thing to do to find funding, and we fasted and prayed about it, and the Lord showed us, through other brothers and sisters who we talked to, not to do it. It's not the right thing to do, and the Lord showed us clearly it wasn't the right thing to do, because a lot of His institutions who are doing a great work for Him are in Satan's pocket. That Satan's using man and using the government, the earthly government, to take down a lot of His ministries. And we see a lot of compromise. And so the Lord was just showing us those are His people. Those are His ministries, but they're being compromised through position, money, power, wealth, and position. And now, man, God wants to teach us totally to rely on Him and Him only. Because when a storm comes, all we have is God and His word and His promises that we are all going to stand on. And so as we went forth and we got rid of it, we allowed our 501c3 to a sponge. We started promoting. We started going around the businesses and churches and different denominations, our own denominations, and the conference, everywhere. Non-conference, we went everywhere, just promoting and try to get our name out for the last 3 years. And God was just showing us, we thought it was going to open right then and there, but for 3 years, the Lord, and we got our business plan together, our prospectus, and as time went on, the Lord kept showing us there's more work you have to put into it, and so we were putting a lot of work into it, and tools that we need and things of that nature. And so here we are today. Today we are on the property that we've been looking at. Because prior to that, we have been looking at other properties, and we always thought it was the one. I believe the first one was 111 acres, 130 acres, no, 125 acres. Then one was, I think it was like 8 acres, but it had all the buildings that we need on there, and and so forth, and so we finally seen this property that we're on now, which is here in Calhoun, Tennessee. It's on 225 acres. I have staff housing, dormitory, school buildings, workshops, wash stations for produce, and it has over 50 acres of farmland. And I mean, it has a river, flowing water, 5 wells, pond. It's just beautiful property, school building, and so forth. It's beautiful property, and so we like, okay, no, is this the building? Is this the property? Because the property previous, the property previous before that, we got our hopes up high, thinking, Lord, this is the property. We know it's the property. We was fasting, praying over the properties, and the Lord showed us later on was the property. So we was just getting like, man, where's the property, Lord? What do you want us? And so finally, we noticed the property because for a year and a half we've been looking at it, and we actually ended up moving to the property. We actually live 3 hours from this property, and the Lord was telling us to move for the last 2 years to move, and we tarried. And so the Lord had to make things happen. Long story short, and we ended up moving over to this direction. We ended up moving actually 13 miles from here. And so we ended up getting mold in the building that we was, the apartment, the house that we were staying in, and we had to move. So the Lord made it where we had no choice but to move to the property, because the owner of the property is Adventist, and that they were renting for the time being until they found a buyer for the property. And we just know people came with the money to buy the property, but the Lord already showed that this was our property, and for some way, somehow, they never bought the property because something always happened. Even in trucking school, like they even had greenhouses, and a trucker company wanted to buy the property, but they end up backing out. Whatever the case happened with that situation, the owner of the property ended up losing some good greenhouses, $100,000 greenhouses, and so that's one thing when we buy the property that we have to gain back. Will be the greenhouses, and so I'll make a long story short. Here we are. We got approved by the owner that we can start the carpentry school back in June. So we started doing. So now we're putting together a fundraiser right now, which is going to be September 8th through September 16th. We're gonna have a preachathon. We have 9 different speakers speaking on each night, and the theme is going to be preaching on end time events. And we are going to be inviting the community out. We're going to be promoting it to the community, and it's a blessing. Here we are. We're meeting with people to purchase the property. Right now, we're trying to find money right now to purchase the property. So we're just getting ourselves out there, and we're just looking forward to doing the Lord's will, getting back to the blueprint. We're going to be teaching carpentry, plumbing, agriculture, health and wellness sanitarium. We're going to have a health and wellness sanitarium on the property. inviting the community to come out and show them how to reverse the cancers and diseases and diabetes and so forth through the natural way that God gave us the herb-bearing seed of the field. And we're going to be also have a that's going to be part of the health wellness sanitarium. Is going to be in another building that we're going to put on. It's going to be for midwives. So a lot of our medical missionaries out there, we don't have a midwife building, or a station or a home base for midwives. The Lord also showed me the dream to open 4 different schools. This is the first one being up and coming. I'm going to put one in Florida, one up in Arizona, and one upstate New York. Targeting, reaching the people, training God's people for what's going to come down the pipeline, and teaching people how to be self-sufficient as well. If they want to run, open a business or something, whatever. But to have a spiritual walk, it is a Christian institution. We're going to have a Christian academy from grades 12. Now, mind you, it's 225 acres, so it's a lot of land and a lot of buildings on here. And we're going to have, we already have dormitories as well. And we're going to have a Christian academy from grades 3 to 12. And we're going to have, we're going to be teaching agriculture as well, how to cultivate the soil and so forth. We're going to have dormitories for that as well. We're going to have their own department, but it's all going to be part of the vocational school. It is a vocational school, but we're going to have different types of electives and programs here. It's definitely going to be different from a lot of other ministries that came before us and so forth. We're going to have we're all going to have eventually our own staff, hygienic restaurants and thrift stores throughout the areas that the schools all 4 schools are going to be located in. Just reaching God's people. It's an outlet to give